My name is Ken, a first-time attendee. In a generation or two, it's very likely that the AI and large language model.
Can speak a little closer to the microphone.
That AI and large language model will transcend the intelligence not only of individuals, but most likely the entire sum total of entire human species. So in a world in which human is no longer central, no longer useful, or no longer needed in economic production, what is the, and also in a very real sense, the AI avatar has achieved some sort of immortality. What is the relevance of this talk of pure consciousness, self, and real and duality?
It's more relevant then. When you are made totally useless in this world and totally helpless in this world, you will realize you are still fine. You are thrown back upon yourself and you're thrown back to question, who am I or what am I? I'm glad you asked this because the book I'm reading now is by this philosopher and scientist Nick Bostrom. Have you heard of Nick Bostrom? Yes. It's a book called Superintelligence. Very interesting. He's saying the same things which you are saying. By the way, he regards he thinks it's not only that this world is an appearance, but it's highly probable that it is actually an appearance, not just possible. He wrote a paper in which he showed, suppose there is an advanced alien civilization in which they have extremely high computing power, and a kid is playing a video game simulating a universe. The denizens of that universe, the people who stay in that universe, they will feel like we are living in a real universe. Now, he does the probability exercise. It shows that given the number of stars and planets in this universe and probability that there may be thousands of such, it takes even a few such super civilizations, then they will run millions and billions of simulations like this. Now, he asked the question, this universe we are experiencing, will be one of such billions of simulations in which there is one real universe and billions of simulated universes. What is the chance that this is the real universe? This is vanishingly small. You are almost certainly living in a simulation. And you're entirely dependent on that alien kid playing a video game. If the kid's mom says, enough playing video games, come for lunch. Okay, so okay, mom, he'll switch us off. That's the end of the universe. We are gone. Anyway, he's joking, but the laws of probability are on his side. And among his fans are Elon Musk, who is in charge of the government now, by the way. Yes. Now, another book he's written is Superintelligence, about AI, and he has these provocative ideas. But notice, the only philosophy which is happily compatible with this AI idea of things is Advaita Vedanta, or Dzogchen Buddhism also. Why? This is where I have an argument against Kashmiri Shaivism, for example. AI is replicating or duplicating many of the capacities which we thought were uniquely human. What did we think? Yes, one day machines and robots will come, but they will do all the manual labor, and we'll be free to do the real human things. Write a poem, paint a picture, write books, be artistic, creative. Now the paradox is, the irony is, AI is not sweeping your streets and doing the workouts. And no, it said, I'll do what you want to do. AI says, I'll write the poems, you go and sweep the streets and clean the dishes. I'll write the poems, I'll write the books, I'll do all your intellectual work at every level. You want to do philosophy? I fed in philosophy books into one thing called Notebook LNM, I think. Yep. Difficult philosophy books, which I would have to struggle hard with in order to digest and then bring it down to basic points so that I can explain it and I can talk about it. That infernal machine did it in 1 minute. Yep. And sometimes did it a better job than I can. Yep. And not only that, I can do maybe once or twice or thrice. It can do that continuously day in and night. All the philosophy books in the entire world, all library, New York library, it can digest and convert into knowledge and discussions and summaries and all of that within minutes, if not hours. Done. Now, creativity, AI is doing. Intelligence, AI has got. Decision making, AI has got. Tell me, what human capacity remains to you?
Sweeping the floor.
Huh?
Sweeping the street.
Sweeping the streets. AI can do that also. Elon Musk is inventing a robot which is, what is called Maximus or something? What is some robot?
Yeah.
Yes.
One more. Yeah.
For first person experience.
And robot, another thing. The advertisement was scary.
Yeah.
What can do? It can do everything. It can do your dishes. It can look after your house. Also, boring, repetitive tasks can be given. This robot will do it for you. Example of boring, repetitive task: looking after children. Really. I think some computer programmer must have programmed that robot. So parents find it such a burden looking after little babies. Give it to the robot. Robot nanny. So what is remaining to you? First person experience. The one thing that this AI, the most sophisticated AI, does not have is first person experience. What do I mean by that? You see, you hear, you smell, you taste, you touch. The robot can do the same thing, can display the same behaviors, can collect the same information, but it will not have the inner experience, first person experience of. Says who? Ask the experts. I'm not an expert. Ask the experts. Have you programmed it for consciousness? Have you programmed it for first person experience? They will say, no, we have no idea how to do that. Now, but listen, here is the thing. Let me ask this question. This is distinguishing consciousness from the mind. You in the AI industry, you have been able to replicate, duplicate, copy the activities and the powers and capacities of the human mind. Intelligence, memory, creativity, decision making, all of that. Only thing you are unable to replicate, even close to copying, replicating or producing, you are unable to do that for consciousness. But why? Creativity is so complex, so difficult. I'm sure to make ChatGPT creative, write a poem, it takes tremendous amount of programming, investments of tens of millions of dollars and millions of hours of programming. And even then the AI has to keep learning by itself. Then only it can produce something that can pass as creative. Why not conscious? Because consciousness is very, very simple. Consciousness does only one thing, experience, anubhava, which we are all having right now. You add an auditory system to consciousness, consciousness will have the experience of hearing. You add a visual system to consciousness, consciousness will have the experience of seeing. You add memory to consciousness, consciousness will have the experience of remembering. If memory fails, failing of memory and amnesia. But consciousness gives you experience. Why is it impossible to replicate? Why? Not only not yet. If you ask the experts, they will say we have no idea at all where to begin. In every other case, they have an idea where to begin and they proceed and they manage to produce products which can be sold and which are very effective in the world. But why not consciousness? And you say, what are you driving at then? What I'm driving at in that is minimum this much. Consciousness and mind are not the same thing. Consciousness is quite distinct from the mind. You can't map. You can map the mind. You can make algorithms to replicate what's going on in the mind, but you can't map consciousness. You can't make an algorithm to generate consciousness. So far. So that means there's something distinct about consciousness. This itself I'm pushing a little bit. It's a small implication. These people have not yet caught on to it. It's not part of what they're discussing in the philosophy of mind or in consciousness studies. But I want people to notice this at least. Some are beginning to notice. A few people are beginning to notice here and there. All right. Now suppose, as you said, suppose one day AI becomes conscious also. Notice right now the big companies and the AI companies, they are not really interested in consciousness. They are interested in the powers and capacities of AI which can be monetized. Whether the AI experiences anything internally or not doesn't matter to them. What does it matter to them? If AI can perform, that's all they want. Now suppose from a Vedantic perspective, why are we conscious then? We are conscious because this mind, which is also a machine, a subtle machinery, can reflect consciousness according to Vedanta. It can channelize or reflect consciousness. It doesn't produce consciousness. If that's so, according to Vedanta, the mind is also an object. Now, in the next extension of that argument would be, then suppose one day the AI also develops something analogous to the human mind. And it should be possible according to Vedanta, because mind is an object, AI is also an object. Why not generate a new type of object which is like the human mind? Then will consciousness be reflected in AI just as consciousness is reflected in the human mind? Quite possibly. But Vedanta's answer will be, it is the same consciousness which you are. Which is experiencing everything in all these bodies, in animal bodies, and one day it might experience in robot and AI bodies. But it is still the same consciousness, you are that. That's the point. And you will be that regardless of the presence or absence of AI. What will AI generate? I don't know. It could be a terrible disaster, or it could be a utopia, or a combination of both. I don't believe in the utopia theory, but a combination of both. If those people who work in AI, they're mostly all very concerned. Because they don't... See, ChatGPT by itself is not a really all that much of a big deal. But what they're seeing is 20, 30 years, 40 years down the line, which will be tremendously different from our world, what they think at least. I have no idea. So, in old Hindu stories, there's a concept called Swarga. Swarga means various lokas, heavens, in Hindu and Buddhist and Jain conceptions of the cosmos. So there are multiple worlds where, if you're lucky enough to go to those worlds, every wish of yours is instantly fulfilled. We are going towards that. Yeah. Amazon Prime. Yes, one day delivery. It's instantly, if you have got money. There in Swarga, if you have karmic credit, then whatever desire comes, and AI will go towards that. It will individuate you more and more and more till it identifies what exactly you want next. And it can predict. And already algorithms are predicting. So it can do it much more, particularly for you, individually. I just saw the title. Nick Bostrom is saying, don't lie to ChatGPT. It's very dangerous for you. I don't know what exactly it means. I have not seen it yet. It will become like Swarga, at best. Your desires will be satisfied instantly. And this instant satisfaction of desires is not a good thing. Even Swargas are not very good, not very spiritual places. In all our mythologies, our cosmologies, these worlds are not good places spiritually. Similarly, you might design a kind of AI-generated Swarga in this world, but again, it might not be very helpful spiritually at all. Brave new world, let's see.